Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are live with our very first episode of Eric Johnston Live. If you guys are wondering who you were just listening to, the band is called JoJo Gun and the Bullets. My best friend happens to be the drummer in that band. That's why I'm allowed to play the music on the show, because they don't have a license. They're just a good band from Stony Creek. I'm going to start the show off by cracking. Oh, I cut my nails today. A gin smash. First sponsor, not really, but I'll make them. They'll sponsor. I can feel it. This is Eric Johnston Live, the first episode being What's Worse. I'm seeing a lot of people talking online of what's worse, this or this, this or this. Yeah, this is worse, blah, 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 blah. A lot of comics go really dark with it, like what's worse, I don't know, like it's always like sex acts and then people are involved. Yeah, it's weird. I'm gonna do not that. I'm gonna do this first episode called What's Worse. I put some stuff up on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and I asked people what's worse, blank or blank, one or the other. We're gonna discuss. I'm gonna have guests. Also, yeah, my first comment of the night is sun's out, guns out. I tanned the last 2 days and now it's freezing cold here. And I actually got tanned. This is a natural tan and not a spray tan from my sister's company, Dash of Sun, which you can get a spray tan after we're out of lockdown. Check them out. This is a natural tan. I'm all natural. I thought I'd show it off. Plus, I found last night when I was in the suit, I was all confined. I feel like this is more natural bro attire. This is more douchebag bro attire. So this works better for me. I'm drinking a gin smash. I'm greeted again by a cardboard cutout of myself and Larry David over my shoulder. We're going to start. First of all, anyone who's watching this stream right now, please share it. You guys would not believe how many views you get if you just share the stream. And that's what this is about, trying to get people watching and entertained and stuff like that. Clint says I sound like a smooth jazz announcer, radio announcer. Thank you. That's very nice of you. Actually, our first guest of the evening happens to be a radio announcer. I met him when I did a talk at Mohawk College. Him and I ended up becoming super good bros. We've talked, and we have similar tastes in music, and we became buds. Please welcome to the show, Russell.
What's up? Sorry, my lighting's not nearly as good as yours.
No,
I'm in at the moment I'm isolating during quarantine.
You're isolating during quarantine?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Well, no, but my mom came back from the States, so legally I can't. I came up to help her open up the house, and what happened was, I didn't realize that was going to be an issue. And so once I got here, she said, "No, now that we've seen each other and been in the same house, like you can't leave for 2 weeks."
So you're stuck in your mom's house too?
Yeah. And then not only that, but we have to self-isolate from each other because my mom's 68 too, right? So she's in that key demographic.
Oh.
So yeah, man, but tomorrow I'm out. I'm breaking loose. Yeah, spring.
That's good, man. 2 weeks. You did it with your mom. Yeah. Hey, buddy, I do it all the time. I live here. This is I isolate all the time. Why do you think I started doing this show? So I can go up to my office and hide for a couple hours.
I have to go down to my office.
It doesn't matter. You know what? As long as you're hiding, you tell the people about who you are, what you do, what your radio show. You got a bunch of stuff going on. Go ahead, pitch yourself. Go ahead.
Well, we don't have any radio shows going on now, obviously, but we're doing some stuff remotely. I go by the tag. If you guys want to check me out anywhere on social media, it's all across the board. All across the board is Rusty Radio MV. I think that should be my name on here. I think.
Okay.
If you want to check that out. But we did have a couple shows. We had 2 shows on the Hawk. One that we wanted you to come on, but then we ended up, of course, not being able to do that because everything got shut down. That one was called Campus Conversations. You can find that on all of your podcast, wherever you find your podcasts. And there's some backdated ones. I left the show a few months ago, so you have to go back to the beginning to find the ones that I was co-hosting.
Okay.
And then I had a group show called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on the Hawk. That was pretty cool. That was every Thursday for 2 hours. We did that, and I was the host of that with my co-host and producer Jordan and Joseph, which was pretty cool.
Okay.
And then I also have a solo show that I did on igniteradio.ca called Rustic Radio.
Ooh,
So
rustic.
Yeah, and actually, I was a student at, sorry. What I'm trying to say is I'm about to graduate. I have graduated. I have one assignment to do, and that's just to bolster my mark. All my classes are passed, and I'm done, buddy. I'm going out into the world.
You're going out into the world of radio, where everyone steps on each other's necks and gets fired without notice. Trust me, I got a lot of friends in radio. Don't worry, I don't have a job at all anymore. So I'll let you know my mom is watching. My mom tried to say your loving mother is watching. She said your living mother is watching, which is good. She's still alive, although I would love that inheritance. Now everyone's like, "Why?" People are like, "Well, we could do like a 6 foot, thing, and we'll hang out, we'll have a drink." It's like, nah. First of all, no, and second of all, as much as I would love my mom's inheritance, I cannot kill her. I do not want to kill her. I love her too much, and she's too good of a cook. We've got actually our first question of what's worse. I came in here. Emma has written, "What's worse, wet socks or too tight socks?" You can start this one.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go wet socks. It's brutal. Have you ever walked around with wet socks and shoes? Like you hear that squishy noise, and everyone's gonna hate me for using the word, but I'm gonna use it. Moist.
Whoa, moistly.
Ugh. Yeah, man. I would rather a tight, like, compression sock almost than
You
wet
know what?
sock.
I feel like I'm the same way. When you wear a suit, I mean, I wear a lot of them. You wear a lot of like ska guy suits. So basically just pants and the suspenders, and you got that hat on. You're walking around with a Mighty Mighty Boss Tones t-shirt on. After a long day of wearing a suit and you get everything off, and then you take your socks off, and there's that nice line from where you didn't have circulation to your ankle all evening. I like that.
Well,
I kind of like
that release as soon as you take them off. It's like when you take off wet socks, your feet still feel like crap. But I'm trying to be relatively PG here.
No, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care.
All right, then your feet feel like shit. And but when you take off a tight pair of socks and that circulation flows back through, man, I'm telling you, that's money. That's worth being slightly inconvenienced throughout the day for just that brief moment at the end.
Yeah, you know what? That's good. And wet socks, I mean, I never played sports growing up, so I don't know about like having to go to like play an outdoor game of something and like your socks are all wet. I only know the times my socks got wet. Once I CYO cross country, like grade 7. We used to do, it was basically you would run cross country after school every day, so you can get one day off in like April or May. And I hated school so much that I don't do cardio. Even as a child, I was like, you guys go ahead. But I would sign up for cross country so I get that one day off, and you get to go up to Christie Conservation Area and run. And I remember I tried to cheat. I tried to run off the trail and kind of catch it through another side. And I ran through the woods and through this river, and my feet got soaking wet. So that sucked. I think you're right. I think what's worse, wet socks or too tight socks.
And I'm just following these comments here. I got to say hi to a fellow Russ Doyle, moist talking, the spirit of radio.
There he is, Russell, another Russell. I know a couple Russells.
We're moist talking, and we've got the spirit of radio in that.
Just as a heads up to people, guys, but anyone who's watching this stream right now, I put the link to become part of this stream in the comment section. Click on that, turn on the allow access to your camera and to your audio and stuff like that, and then you'll pop up in the bottom here. I get to see you down here, and then I'll bring you on. We can have like 10 people on here at once if you want. We can all talk about what's worse. Our first one being what's worse, wet socks or too tight socks, and we have both decided that wet socks are worse.
That's the consensus. And how are you doing, Russell? Russ, my buddy here, Russ Doyle, said hello. So are you do you prefer, I guess you're a Russ then, eh, Doyle? because I'm a Rusty from time to time.
Oh, Rusty sounds like a guy, and you actually look like a Rusty. Like you go into a bar and you're like a guy who's not that old but has stories of an old sailor.
Yeah, man, I was in a touring band for 15 years, so I got stories that you don't even
See, I knew that about you, but I already knew that about you. But if I didn't know that about you, I would know that about you, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
no,
would look
totally.
at you and I'm like, this guy is either in a band or he works in film production. You have
Yeah.
that look where you could be a sound man or one of those guys who just walks around with all the tapes on their waist and they just tape
I've
stuff
worked
up.
on I've worked on a couple TV shows. I worked on a few feature films. I hosted my own cooking show, man.
See, I am like a goddamn savant with how people look. I'm aware of how I look. I'm wearing a wife beater and gold jewelry in the home right now. I'm aware.
I'm not bling for you, buddy.
That's right too. Yeah, you get no. I think there's too many men who are afraid of jewelry. Travis, who was on the show last night, it's an army bit. It's the army bit in me. Wet socks are no.
Yeah, take care of your feet.
That's how you get trench foot. You know what?
Yeah.
Trench foot. We brought up a thing. This is not part of the show. My sister just commented the word both. I say the word both, BOTH, with an L. Anyone else here? If you I know my sister and I both do it.
Now I'm never gonna be able to undo that, man.
I don't know if it's a speech impediment or if it's an area of Hamilton that I grew up in that people say both. I don't say both. It sounds pretentious. Both.
Well, I'm sorry for the rest of the world. We're so pretentious.
People who do it right.
Yeah.
Comment below if you say both with an L. This is a funny comment. Actually, you look like you might have ironed your money if it was still paper. I don't know if that was for me or for you. Either way, I have done that.
I was gonna say, I think that's a you comment, man.
I was gonna say, I did it in the States. When I tour in the States, I get paid in cash because it doesn't matter why I have to get paid in cash when I tour in the States. But anyways, I also sell merch, and when I sell merch, a lot of people just throw me like ones and twos. At the end of all my shows, I say it's a pay what you can situation. So people throw me. In Canada, I say loony toony, $5, $100, whatever you got. That's kind of my closing line when I'm selling merch. But in the States, I go, whatever you got, a single, two singles, couple singles, handful of singles, whatever you got. And people will come up and pay me for my merchandise in handfuls of like in a ball of singles. And then I remember I was in New Jersey and I literally went back, had the iron on super low heat and just ironed all this money flat so I could keep it on me and look like, one of those guys. Someone just said Emma said, long live both. Thank you very much. I don't. I appreciate anyone who says both.
I'm never going to be able to unhear it.
Both.
You know what? I have a way that's going to ruin it. I'm going to hear it now every time I talk to you. But I have one. I have a similar story it's now I'm going to ruin a lot of people's lives when I say this. This is my mother's an educator, so this is the educator in her coming through in me.
Okay.
To you, the audience. Anyways is not a word.
Yes, I knew.
It's anyway. And everyone says anyways. I used to do it. And now, trust me, now that I've said it, all of you out there that are tuned in, you are going to hear it every time now.
Anyways.
Go, oh, that's not right. That's not. Russ told me.
Rusty, the old Rusty, drop the S. It's anyway. You know what? You are right. And I didn't know that. And I do catch people who say that. I also cannot stand people who say, I couldn't. I could care less.
Yeah.
It's I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
When we were like, I could care less. It's like, start saying like, I could care less. I don't care a lot, but I could. I could also care less. This is a sliding scale, and I could become less caring. It's I couldn't care less. You couldn't get any further in the not caring. Drives me up the wall.
Well, I'll be sure to keep an eye on that. Make sure I don't drop that one when we're chatting.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. You won't. This is a classic one. What's worse is from my friend Karina. What's worse, being too hot or too cold?
You want to take this one first?
I will, just because I put a lot of thought into this.
And you just got a tan.
And bro, look,
right?
I am a goddamn olive skinned Adonis. I have a pretending to be Italian thing going on.
And I'm fucking Casper the ghost over here.
Yeah, what are you Scottish?
Yeah, that's lighting, man. I'm in the basement with one lamp, so
been there.
Yeah.
I am a hot person, and I don't mean that as how I look. That I know. No, I am one of those people who are constantly hot. Every one of actually, my sister is the same way. My mom is always cold. You see my mom walk around, she's just got like a throw blanket at all times. My mom is freezing at all times.
My mom's like that too.
My sister and I, both people, both of us are people who run hot. I don't think I've ever been cold in my life. Not once.
Well, so is your answer but do you enjoy, like, you prefer to be hot, or do you
No, the answer is I hate being hot. But this is why I put a lot of thought into this. If you're cold, put some shit on. Fireplace, sweater, blankie, double blankie, 2 pair of socks. Make sure they're not too tight. Make sure they're not wet. You can put on to deep cold.
Great minds think alike, my friend. I've had this discussion several times that you can't take off your skin. I mean, that's as far as you can go.
As soon as I unleash this thunder of this tank top, that's it. I can't go any further. Yeah, exactly. I want to see all the tats. I have one on my chest and one on my shoulder.
I got a big guy here. We'll release some
thunder. Slower. Oh God. What does it say? My wings will set me free or something?
No, it says you have to earn your soul.
Deep.
I thought so, man.
That's what you just did there is my favorite tattoo person thing. Because obviously I was shit talking when I'm like deep, and you're like, I thought so. Because no matter what, you have to defend it. It's on your body for the rest of your life.
And it's a reminder across my chest every day when I leave the house not to be a shit. You know, you gotta go out and just do something nice.
You had this ready, which I love. I love that about that.
This ready. It's just people always.
All right, you're getting hot now. You're getting hot. You can't take off any clothes. You're getting hot. No, I agree with you. I have tattoos. Both of them are memorial pieces for my dad. So it's like no matter what anyone says, like, oh, you got your dad's signature from when he signed a contract to wrestle in Japan, which was literally the height of his career in 1986, and he came home and you were born in 1990, and it meant the world to him. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I have. Yeah. It's literally that signature of when my dad signed a contract to go wrestle in Japan, and my dad did very well in Japan. So yeah, talk shit. I dare you. Can't.
Well, you say I had that prepared. It's because everybody asks, man. I get constant questions.
Well, it's sticking out of your chest. I get it.
Well, that's true, but these days, man, I mean,
I like the owl a lot, though, and that was pre-Drake, I'm assuming.
Why does he have something like this?
No, Drake just has his whole base of his company is the owl, the OVO owl.
Nah, I'm OG owl.
I like it. I'm putting the thing in the stream again for anyone else who wants to come on. But you're a great guest. I'm loving people who I weren't even expecting. Like last night, I had a former Army veteran by the name of Travis Wall, who I believe is still watching. He was on the show. My cousin Chris, who's like an animal trapper. He lives up near Smithville. He was on the show. I had a radio host in Calgary on the show. I had a comedian from Saskatoon on the show. It was just people just coming in. We shoot the shit, and then they leave.
Well, I'm not going anywhere, my man.
No, you're not until someone more interesting.
One of these things, I'm always down.
Oh no, keep going. Let's go. I wonder if there's any more questions here in the thing. I have to scroll up here. A lot of wet stuff. We can go to a Instagram question. Actually, I'm not gonna be able to. You're not gonna be able to see it on the screen.
Fire away.
But someone asked me on Instagram. That's not good radio, doing that noise into the
yeah, man.
Thing. Okay, I got it here. Here we go. This one was good. What's worse? and I don't know if this is for male or female. Either way, we can answer it. What's worse, having hairy legs or hairy armpits? I believe it was a female who asked the question, so maybe that's a guy's opinion. What's worse on a female, hairy legs or hairy armpits? I'll let you take this one on.
Oh, you son of a bitch. No offense to what's your mom's name. I did not mean to say that because the lovely Kathy there. That was poor choice of words.
What did she say?
No, what I said. So.
Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, I thought I was like, whoa. My mom's saying something.
Kathy, we haven't met, but I'm sure you're great. So I didn't mean that. Anyway, moving on. I knew you'd stick me with this one. I don't know what. I don't really. Okay, so I'm going to be relatively diplomatic at first.
Right.
Honestly, neither really bothers me. But if I had to, I mean, if I really like, I can get past it. Especially, I mean, I'm married essentially, so it doesn't bother me. I'm good. But if I had to pick, I would say I would prefer hairy legs.
You would prefer the hairy legs and the hairy armpits?
Yeah, just because of the intimate part of the relationship. You tend to focus. You're not paying as much attention to the legs as to the rest of what's going on.
Okay, you're right.
If I had to pick, now again, I'm all for, it's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker for me if there's hair in either of those places. But if I had to choose, I would say I would prefer leg hair. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll break it down. I'll be less diplomatic. Here's the thing. There are certain standards that it's not that men are like, I want this for a woman. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here is there's certain levels of hygiene that I believe that humans, man or woman or whatever else you are, there's a certain level of hygiene that everyone should follow. I believe I'm a classic shower twice a day dude. In this quarantine, it's like been one, and I actually didn't shower for a whole day when this first started, and I was like one of those guys that you see in a war movie where they get like shell shocked and they just walk around and they're not really seeing anything or hearing anything. That's how I felt.
Up their own arm kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm like, get my wristwatch off my arm. It was like that, or I didn't have an identity because I am a very clean, almost to an OCD level. But I hate when people say, "Oh, it's an OCD level." It's like, no, really? Do you really know how severe OCD is? Because it's not. I shower a lot, but I believe in cleanliness is next to godliness, although I'm not religious. My priest told me I was going to hell in grade 7, and that was it for me. Now, I've dated. I did a serious relationship for 3 years, and then I had a 6-month break, and then I did a serious relationship for 2 years, and then I've had, 70 on and off girlfriends who, hate me. But I think a hairy leg, I can see how a girl could be like, like I didn't shave my legs. And as you're basically married. I've been single for a bit. If when a girl's like, if something's going to happen and then the girl's like, well, I didn't shave my legs. No guy gives a fuck. Girls, I'll tell you that right now. No guy is going to be like, oh, well, you didn't shave your legs. Okay, I'm gonna go home then.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off. I don't think it's gonna work out.
You know what? This was great. We had a great night, but you didn't shave your legs. It's a slight stubble.
Just really happy I got you home safe. I'm gonna take off.
And so guys don't give a shit. So if something were to heat up and you could see that there was like a little stubble on the legs, I'm not going to be like, I don't think so. And then I'm going to leave.
Sorry, go ahead.
However, if I was on a date with a girl or even a date leading up, the date was leading to something more. And if the girl took her shirt off and as she was doing it, you could see like a big Robin Williams knuckle of hair.
That's a fantastic analogy.
If I saw that, I may be like, whoa, and it'll be like, what's with that? And I get that there's a natural to it, and I believe in the hippie movement and the aluminum free deodorant, and I believe in all of that bullshit.
Yeah.
But
so we're in agreement.
If Robin William Knuckle came out of the bottom of that pit, that might be a write-off. So the answer is, what's worse, hairy armpits or hairy legs? The answer is pits.
That's worse. Yeah, we were going for worse, not best. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. Look at the title of the show, dummy. Yeah, I want to know what's better. I want to go against the grain.
Yeah.
Wow,
that was something on my part.
Emma is crushing it with the questions right now. Emma brought up another one, great one: stubbing your toe or biting your tongue. I'll start this.
Sure.
I have a competitive dance background. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I knew that.
And I did 7 years of very competitive tap, and among other dances, which is, if you've seen on my Instagram and Facebook, I am an excellent dancer. I've said that before. I am immune to stubbing my toe. Like it hurts, but I did it so much as a dancer, doing dance moves, that I've almost like a war guy, where I'm like, oh, I got a cut, but I was right, like I'm tough. I'm a tough dude, but my toughness comes from a competitive dance background, so it's not.
I love that.
It's not real toughness, yeah, no, I think it would still hurts, but I would say that biting your tongue would be worse. The worst is when, we're just talking about girls, not biting your tongue, but when you clang teeth when you're making out with somebody. That's a little off the thing. But I just thought about mouth pain, and the worst thing when you're probably wasted if you're making out with a stranger. I mean, whatever, to each their own. But if you're
clanging teeth, you're probably wasted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you can't compute mouth distance, then you're probably wasted. But that pain is the worst, when you clang your teeth with the teeth on teeth. Oh, I'm gonna puke just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But mouth pain is the worst. And you know why? Because people are stupid. You bite your tongue, it hurts, and then for the next 3 days you spend you bite it. You continue to bite it. You're like, oh yeah, I bit my tongue. That hurts a lot.
What's
Let me bite it again.
That line from Fight Club? It's like a cut on the top of your mouth that would heal if only you would stop tonguing it.
Oh, that's disgusting. The movie Fight Club gives me anxiety, but this is not an episode of I haven't seen it, so we're gonna move on.
So anyway, I guess my answer to that too, but is I can handle a stub toe. I've broken toes literally just by stubbing them. I've broken toes before, so I can handle that. The thing is, I grind my teeth sometimes when I sleep, and sometimes I chitter chatter a little bit when I sleep, and I have chomped on my tongue and woken up to that pain.
Oh,
like my jaw clenching on my when I'm sounded like dead asleep, and I jolt awake, and it's just like a pain just going.
Yeah, that would suck. The worst thing I ever did sleeping, I broke my wrist while I was sleeping.
How'd you pull that off?
So I was living in Vancouver at the time, and I was going to the Vancouver Film School, and I was actually, the Vancouver Film School was the most thing I've ever committed to, that I cared about, that I really did my homework and did the work that was involved in getting really high marks and doing really well at the school. One night we were working on something, and we had read this script, and it was the acting for a film and television program. So I was reading a lot of scripts, but then I forgot about something, and I tried to read a script, like a script reading in before I went to bed. So I was in my bed like this, and I was reading the script, and I guess I fell asleep, and I guess I don't know what happened, where I was so 100% sober. This was like a Tuesday night, although it's Thursday night or whatever night it is now, and I'm drinking a gin smash, but you know what I mean? It was like a school night. I fell asleep, and I rolled into it, and my big body, my muscular body, I guess fell into it, and I guess I leaned into it. And the craziest part about it is I was so deeply asleep that I didn't wake up.
No.
So I just slept, I guess the way I slept on it all night, like, when your arms asleep and you wake up and you do like one of these, I did that, but my wrist was broken. So I was like, I woke up, I was like, like, in Ace Ventura when he gets this with the darts and his arms are all flaily. I like woke up and I was like, ow. And then I had to run to school. I taped it with hockey tape. Why I had hockey tape, I have no idea. I've never touched a stick in my life. But I had hockey tape in my apartment, wrapped it up, ran to school, did the scene that I was studying for, and then I was like, can I go to the hospital? They're like, why? I'm like, I think my wrist is broken. And then I went to the hospital, and they're like, yeah, we x-rayed it, and it was 100% I broke my wrist.
Wow.
That's the worst thing I think I've ever
hey, man,
done in my sleep.
Credit, though, for the show must go on.
I'm a true entertainer.
Did the scene before even,
Patrick Coppolino asked, real life Eric versus cardboard Eric, which one's worse? This I'll give you some backstory, Russell. You don't know. I was
going to say, I think I need a little context. Yeah.
You don't need you don't know Pat. Well, you know Patrick, but you wouldn't. Listen, Patrick is a fellow comedian. Him and I started doing comedy together in 2010. And we're buddies, and his whole thing is busting my balls. And he's also the owner and manager of Levity Comedy Club in downtown Hamilton, in which you've been to see me. So yeah, Russell, you know Patrick because I brought Russell to your business, Patrick.
Yeah,
fucker.
I've been several times too.
But what's worse, I don't know. Both are pretty bad. But this one, I don't know. This one's classier, and this one's more of a bro. I'm gonna open up. Actually, Patrick, if you want to join this stream, I put the thing on there. I don't know if he's still watching, but
I've got just real quick. I want to say hi to the lovely, ever talented Sam Cook.
Oh, Sam Cook live.
Yeah, she's right there.
Hi, Sam. I just talked to her on the phone yesterday or 2 days ago. I've lost track of my days.
It was Sam that put you and I in the same room. And
you know what? You're right. That was a good day. Man. I felt like a true motivational speaker that day we met. I was just talking shit, and while I was doing it, I was like, "This is making a lot of sense." And then, I did a nice little talk from the business of comedy and the business of show for the Mohawk students where I met Russell. I'm gonna do another one from Instagram. The question is, what's worse, slow walkers or slow drivers? If you're stuck behind somebody, is it worse to be stuck with someone who's walking slowly or driving slowly? I'll let you go ahead so I can write this as a banner and put it at the bottom.
All right. I'm going to say what's worse is definitely drivers. I mean, however, the situation, there's some variables there because you could be on a one-way street or you could be on 6 lanes of highway. Mm-hmm. So that's that. But I'm assuming you're on a one-way street, you can't get around. Slow driver, slow walker. I would say definitely slow driver is the worst. And I have a weird habit. I was in the fine dining industry for 23 years.
Man, you got a story. We got to sit down and write you a book. But go ahead.
Yeah, I've got enough of them. So I did that for a long time, and you get in the habit of saying behind every time you're in running.
That's funny. We're like corner.
Yeah, corner. You got it.
Yeah.
So I do it in the mall, and I don't realize I'm doing it. And I haven't been in the industry now for almost 3 years since I left and came back to school and such, and started my second career. But because I did it for 23 years, I do it in the mall. I do it in the street, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. I'll just go behind and then I'll
hands.
Corner, or like when I come around corners. You know how people hug the corner?
Yeah.
I've learned from so many years of, navigating through dining rooms and kitchens that I always take corners wide.
Super wide. Go left lane.
Yeah. So definitely stuck in traffic sucks way more.
I drive for a living. I mean, I do comedy for a living, but part of my living is a big part of my living is driving. Some of you guys know this who are followers of mine, but I just drove across Canada. In last year, I've driven from Nanaimo, BC to North Sydney, Nova Scotia, which is Pacific to Atlantic and everywhere in between. I generally drive a lot of my tours just because a lot of my shows are back-to-back, city to city, close drive to another. Sometimes I end up doing, 5 or 6 days of 8-hour drive days. But for the most part, They're mostly drivable, especially flying. I'm not afraid of flying, but I've just developed this anxiety based around airports because I have to do it so much that I'm just like, fuck it. I'll just drive. If it's under 10 hours, I'll just drive. I don't give a shit. I don't want to go and sit at Pearson or sit at whatever.
Well, even if you're only flying 3 hours, 4 hours, it's still a 10-hour day.
That's what I mean. And that way, once
you get to the airport and you get through customs and and then you're waiting and then you have to board and then everyone else has to board and then you have to get the flight out of the way and then you have to get
the whole flying thing is just a piss off. I'm not. I mean, I'm gonna have to get more into it as my career, if it ever comes back, because of the end of the world. But I prefer to drive, especially I like being in a city. When I'm in a city, I don't like to just sit in my hotel room. I like to actually explore. So I like to have a car. So I drive for a living. I strangely, by having that lifestyle, I have become very zen on the road.
Yeah.
I do not give a shit. We're all trying to get somewhere. I mean, I speed, but I don't like crazy speed. I just I live in my car. It's like, I don't know. It's almost like this quarantine. At first, you were like, what the fuck? Inside for what? I can't, I go, blah, 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 blah. That was kind of everyone's first reaction. And after like 2 weeks, everyone is making bread and kind of zen and like, we're all in this together. And like, I'm cleaning closets and I'm having a fire with my family and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. It's almost like that with my life on the road, where it's like, I'm cool, man. It's like, whatever. I can drive anywhere I want to and just be whatever. And if people in front of me are slow, I'll just move over, pass them. I'll look at them and be like that classic comedian bit. Like, I want to see who did this, who's the asshole. But then you just pass them, you turn up the radio, and you just fucking chill. However, if I'm in Lime Ridge Mall or Mapleview Mall and there's someone walking slowly, and not even if it's an old lady, sure. If it's an old man, I'll go with their pace, let them experience. But if it's like a group of teenagers dragging their ass
on their fucking phones,
making fucking TikToks, although I just got into TikTok the other day, it's a pretty cool service. But if they're that, like, I will literally, my favorite thing is when someone's walking and they just stop for no reason, I will be coming up behind them and I'll literally yell, roadblock.
Yeah.
And people are like, just, oh shit. And then I go past, it drives me crazy. And it shouldn't, but it does, because we're human beings.
My best friend in the whole world, he's stuck in Saudi Arabia right now, of all places.
Oh God.
Yeah, he's quarantined in Saudi. Anyway, he and I are a little competitive with certain things. We were in a band. He was our lead guitarist. He's an absolute brilliant musician. And
what was the name of your band when you guys toured?
Second Nature. You wouldn't have seen it. So it was back early 2000s when we were touring and recording and stuff like that.
Anything on YouTube people can check out?
Not really, no. We have a demo, but I can't even find it. It's 5 songs. I've got 3 of them on my computer, but it was, we were kids and we recorded it on an 8-track ADAT. So
sweet.
If anyone out there knows
how retro. Sometimes I forget how old you are.
That's right, man.
Go ahead. Your friend in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, right. So Jamie and we're a little competitive. We like fucking with each other. And so he likes to claim that he's a professional mall walker.
Mm-hmm.
And so we I've sort of taken to almost like training in the mall. Like, I'm looking, you know how they say when you're driving, you should be looking 3 cars ahead?
Yep.
Right? That's me in the mall. I can spot. I got the whole lay of the room when I'm cruising through the mall, man. And I'm making lefts in my head before I've even made 2 rights. I'm a professional mall walker.
You're like the Jason Bourne of mall walking.
Mall walking, yeah, man.
Or what's the guy from when his daughter gets kidnapped? He's like, I got a special set of skills. I will find you and I will pass you.
Taken.
Yeah, that's true. I think what's worse, slow walkers is the worst. Driving is a weird thing where I just don't give a shit.
So we're split on this one.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
We were in agreement for most of those. I just put up again in the stream, guys. If you want to join old Rusty Boy and I and join and be part of the What's Worse, I think it'd be interesting to have a third in here. a third because it's just us two dudes. I wonder if we had a female like a Sam
That's
Cooke,
right, like a Sam Cooke, yeah,
or a Jessica Marie, or a Karina, or I don't know.
Emma.
Emma. Oh, Emma's a huge fan. Yeah, Emma would be part of it for sure. But yeah, this is. Can you see the comments like how I can see them on the stream? Are you watching that on your computer,
You're
or is you?
asking me?
Yeah, you, Russell. Yeah, who
Yeah,
else?
I got him right here.
Oh, okay, cool. I was gonna say, this is a good question. I mean, it's not a good question. I don't like talking shit about comics, but the Justin asked who's worse or what's worse. I guess it would be a who's worse, Carrot Top or Gilbert Godfrey. I think they're both fantastic. Yeah, everyone shits on Carrot Top because he's a prop comic, but you know how fucking rich that dude is. Like he lives in an entire floor of a hotel in Vegas. His shows are sold out every night. And he's like I got mad respect for Carrot Top.
And the thing about that too is that he fucking owns it.
Yeah, he's always
people that's career. He's been considered like people have just ridiculed him, and he's been considered just like a joke, and not in a good way.
Yeah,
but he owns it, and there is an audience, and he's found it, and it works, and he obviously has fun when he's doing it. So I mean, to make the kind of money he's making and live the kind of lifestyle that he's got, in order to do what makes him giggle. And you know what I mean? Like I say, right on. I mean, I don't like his comedy. I wouldn't go to his show. I wouldn't watch him. But as far as like from a professional standpoint, I think he's kicking ass and taking names.
And then for Gilbert, Gilbert is a sweet old man. I've met Gilbert once or twice. Once for sure at Club Absinthe. He was part of a roast that ended up landing in the walls of Club Absinthe, and Gilbert was there. And him and I was younger into comedy. This was probably 2013, 2014. So maybe only 3 or 4 years in. And I just started to kind of not pick up steam. I was still very much a working open mic or feature, or opening act. But I asked him for advice, and he just said, he looked at me and he's got like, he doesn't talk like Iago. When you speak to him regularly, Gilbert just sounds like a small, like Jewish man, very soft spoken. Yeah. There's a clip on Stern, which I've learned yesterday. Don't put YouTube clips on these streams or they'll get taken down. But there's a clip from Stern. It's like Gilbert Gottfried's real voice. And anyways, so I asked him for advice, just like a young comic. You know, have any advice for a young comic? And he looked at me and he's just like, yeah. Well, you're tall and you're handsome, and I would say just never quit. That was it. And I was like, first of all, I'm not that tall. I'm just over 6 feet. But then I remember that he is like 5'2". So he's looking up at me and he's like, you're tall, you're handsome, and just don't quit. And I'm
gonna have to look up that clip because I'd like to hear that.
Yeah,
I always knew it was a bit of a caricature, but I didn't know that it was like, you know, that it would be noticeably different. I thought he just slightly sort of brought his voice up a bit, but I didn't think it was so much.
Yeah, no, it's like when he's doing like podcasts, he turns it on a little bit. But this is the clip from Stern is he left Howard Stern a voicemail. And he's like, hi, Howard. It's Gilbert. I'm just calling to tell you that I'm very excited for the show on Thursday and blah, blah, blah. Like a New York Jew, like little tiny New York Jewish guy. That's what he sounds like. But yeah, I don't think there's a worse. Carrot Top is worse in the eyes of people who are love to shit on him. But fuck it, the guy's a millionaire.
Yeah, and like I said, he owns it. I really, that's the one thing I will say that I really, respect about that guy is that he just fucking owns it, man.
Yeah. We got another great question from Emma. Emma is on fire tonight. Emma, if we're not friends on Facebook, feel free to add me. You're like a star. You're a star. Emma writes, what's worse, being itchy and not being able to reach it, or needing to pee and not being able to? Who started last time? Me? You go ahead. I've got stuff loaded already for this, but go ahead.
So do I. Oh, okay, you want me to start? Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely being itchy and not being able to reach it is fucking way worse. Because you know what? Needing to pee and not being able to, I hate to break it to you, but if it's gonna happen, at least it's over. It's a little embarrassing, sure, but just, you know, if you got to go and you're getting, sorry, it's just, you know, I mean, it hasn't happened to me yet, but I'm just saying, I think if it was a situation where it was like, I would, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Whereas
what you're trying to say is you can't unitch an itch, but you can piss your pants and be okay with it.
yeah, basically.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a fair point.
You know what? I think it's not completely crazy. I have to pee all of the time. I don't know what it is. I drink a lot of water. Like I'm one of those people who always has a glass of water. I'm like if there's any Sopranos fans watching, I am like Dr. Melfi's psychiatrist. The guy is always drinking water. That's me. I'm always like, look, I'm drinking a gin smash right now, but I have this massive glass of water next to me. I haven't taken a sip yet, but when I do, it's like also because you're in the entertainment radio, like you know to stay moist.
Stay moist, but
I drink water steady. I don't know if it's a family thing. Everyone in my family does it. But I don't drink pop or anything like that. I've got a couple jokes in my act about how I don't drink pop. And I don't drink anything but water and booze. So I always have to pee. I thankfully have never pissed my pants as an adult that I can think of.
I haven't either. So I'm lucky there.
I could imagine what you're saying where you're like, well, you can't itch or whatever, or scratch whatever. You can't scratch it. It's not going to go away, but you can piss your pants and then you just don't have to pee anymore. Granted, now your socks might be a little bit soggy. That's a callback.
That's a callback.
But then it's over. And I kind of see that thing. Yeah. Itchiness, I don't know, maybe because I moisturize a ton. Like every morning I just dip myself in moisturizer and just shake it off like a dog. I don't get itchy right now. It's funny that we're saying this now. My knee just got itchy. My waist got, like, when someone's talking about being itchy, you automatically become itchy. But I think I've lived I don't know if I can make an educated choice on this because I live having to pee all the time, and I always like photo finish it. Like if I have to, like, again,
I've had a lot of those.
Again, because I'm always on the road, I'm always driving for my job. I have to pee and pull into like sketchy places, and sometimes you're like, I'll pee at the next one. I've become a big fan of peeing in the side of the road. I'm like, it's a liberating experience. Yeah. Or like you're on a highway and you can pull off into a safe shoulder. Don't be one of those fucking morons who just pulls off anywhere. But like a nice, good section, usually near bridges, they have wider shoulders. And just peeing, people honk. I've learned that people will honk no matter what. People will like, hey, like that guy's peeing. And I'm like, yes, I am. I've come to that where that's happened while I've been driving a couple times. I don't really get itchy enough to make that decision. However, I think itch that you wouldn't scratch could drive you fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I saw this thing we were watching. I was watching this clip about, I don't even know, it was like a Top Gear clip or something. And they were going up to, I don't know why I watch this because space gives me fucking crazy anxiety, but sometimes I like to roll the dice with my own anxiety. So fuck it. I watched this clip of like one of the Top Gear guys like going to the edge of space, like in a plane, like not a spaceship, but like as far as you can go up in a plane.
The upper stratosphere.
Yeah, and just saying this is making me fucking sweat. But they go and they have to wear these helmets.
Yeah,
and
there's no air.
Yeah, so they have to wear like almost like a space helmet, but they're in an airplane. And I guess one of the Jeremy Clarkson, one of the fucking guy's name is, I guess while they were doing it, his nose got like crazy itchy, and you can't get into your fucking helmet. So he starts to panic, and then what they did is they actually put like a straw like in the helmet, and he was scratching his own nose with it.
I feel like I need to like,
yeah, and that clip. I first of all, probably because it has something to do with space and being up high, really up high, I almost fucking dropped to begin with. And then the clip of him getting stuck where he couldn't scratch his fucking nose I think I was so anxious watching that clip that I think if something like that happened to me, I would lose my mind. I'd piss my pants, actually. So I would be relieved, but I'd also be fucking dying. Oh, just the thought of that was.
You're not big on heights, huh?
I don't know where this came from because I usually never give a shit. I think it was like one of those. I'll tell you exactly when it happened. I know exactly when it happened.
Should be good.
I was on a flight. Oh, Emma just joined our thing. I'm going to bring her on in a sec after I've started the story. Don't worry, Emma. We can't see you yet. She's in the bottom of our thing. Okay. I'll tell you exactly when my fear of heights happened. It's not even a real fear. Like a couple drinks, whatever. I'm over it. I can fly, get on an airplane. But this is what happened. I was on a flight from Porter, Toronto Island Airport to Thunder Bay, Ontario, which is about a 3.5 hour flight. That flight is no bullshit. It's a 18-hour drive.
Yeah.
To Thunder Bay. I've done it. Trust me. I know it's like 18 to 20 hours.
I've done it many times.
Yeah. And so we take off. And this, I know exactly what's happening. So we take off. I'm sitting next to Giuseppe, the MC. Him and I were on tour together. We're flying to Thunder Bay. He was a bigger dude at the time. He's since lost like 80 pounds. I'm like at the time I was probably like 225. It's winter. We got our jackets on. And we take off out of Toronto Island. And we're jammed in the seat next to each other. And I got like a cramp in my back. So I did like one of those like kick out moves where you can't stretch your back out. And I did one of these and I like tried to stretch like this. As it happened, I was looking out the window of the airplane. And just as that happened, he did one of these because he was going northwest to Thunder Bay. And we were directly above the CN Tower.
Whoa.
And I looked down. And I saw the top of the CN Tower. And my thought was, wow, those people think they're up high. And we leveled out. I thought I was going to have I did have like a mini panic attack on the plane. I thought they were going to have to land the plane. I was like freaking out. Like I was at the top of a roller coaster. And then I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I'll just distract myself and just throw something on the TV or watch something on my phone or just like, let's fucking just forget about this. Porter doesn't have entertainment, period. There's no TVs. There's no nothing. There's not even fucking magazines in the back of the thing. I opened my phone. My phone had just reached maximum memory. So I cleared of everything. Videos, pictures, gone. Games, gone. Everything is gone. So I had to sit on that plane not by myself, but with my thoughts for 3.5 hours after just seeing the top of the fucking CN Tower. And since then, I've had a touch of I don't like heights and I don't like flying. That's why I fucking drive everywhere. If I have to fly somewhere, like I was supposed to be in LA in June, which I don't think is going to happen, I'd have to fucking fly. That is right there why I'm slightly afraid of heights and slightly afraid of flying. However, now Porter, free white wine, just get bombed. You're fine. After 3 drinks, you're not afraid of anything, I feel.
Up there?
Just general. When you're driving or I'm gonna bring in Emma. Emma's been our number one star on this, but because she's on here, people have to bring up the Slack. That's the questions she's not asking. Hold on, I gotta hold on. Actual size. Here we go. Here comes Emma. Emma is here, everybody. Hi.
Hey,
I don't know who you are. Or have we met before?
One time. It was only about 15 minutes. I think it was November 10th. It was a Sunday, and I only know that. And
I was going to say, oddly specific.
It was the day before Remembrance Day, and
which is November 11th. Okay. Where
Yeah.
was it?
Ottawa. I forget the name of the club, but it was after
Absolute Comedy. And I do remember that show because I remember that every year I go to the cenotaph, the Stony Creek Cenotaph where I live for Remembrance Day. And I always make a big deal about it. I always show up and I blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm going to go to the Ottawa Cenotaph for the Remembrance Day. I'm going to stand there. I don't care how cold it is. It's my thing. I have to do it. And then I turned off my alarm and I slept through it. And I only woke up because I could hear the cannon fire that they do, like the mock cannon fire that they do in Ottawa. And I woke up and I was super upset. So that's exactly what I remember happening. But yeah, so we met in Ottawa. Emma, you've been killing it on the questions. So good.
We've answered a few, I think.
I think most of the questions we've had some call or some type-ins, but I'm just like, ooh, no, this is better. This is a better one. Karina asked a question. It's kind of more of an open question, but it's what's worse, tequila or vodka? Emma, do you drink?
Yeah. I have a glass of wine.
Okay. If you were to say I have a glass of vodka, that would be a lot funnier. I have a glass of vodka.
Or I have a glass of tequila. That would just be a bit.
That would have been funnier too. I don't know how to. If people are watching, I think I blocked myself out here of my own face. Hold on, let's see. Well, no, hold on, guys, hold on. I'm fucking around with this thing. Okay, Emma, you can take it away. What's worse, vodka or tequila? If you have a story about either.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that vodka's worse.
Okay.
Tequila has never done me wrong. I always have a fun night on tequila.
That's generally never how that story goes, but go ahead.
No. Vodka, okay. When I was in college, we had like one of those graduating parties. Everyone goes to Tremblant, gets totally wasted. And my boyfriend at the time drank so much vodka that I ended up having to bring him home and like put him in the bathtub and clean him up. And it was 9 o'clock. So I was. But tequila.
AM or PM?
Okay, but that's, I guess, do you have a personal story? I mean, I guess your boyfriend was an asshole and drank like an idiot. He's probably one of those guys who like, hey, I don't care, I'll drink whatever. And then he's crying in a bathtub telling you how much he loves you. And then he broke your heart 3 weeks later. I know the type. I just added that last part just to be an asshole. So tequila, you've had some good times with tequila, Emma? Is that what we're understanding?
Always a good time on tequila. Tequila is like the go out dancing, meet random strangers. They become a drink, and vodka is the can't eat all the next day drink. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah, Russ, take that one away.
I gotta agree with that too. Vodka, and if you have a big night out, there's that expression like, hair of the dog. Because all a hangover is a withdrawal of alcohol. So that's why if you it sounds that I know this is making me sound like a crazy drunk, but I don't even really drink anymore. But anyway, that aside, so if you were gonna get completely in your cups on vodka the next day, if you were to have like an ounce of vodka, I think I would just projectile. But like the next day, I could probably put down like a margarita or something like that.
Ooh, Marg, that's a good idea.
Like if I needed to have just like 1 or 2 ounces to sort of get rid of that hangover, you know what I mean?
To take the edge off, my family calls that.
Yeah, hair of the dog.
Okay, this is my answer. My mom drinks vodka. I don't drink vodka. Vodka is a very Johnston Byrne family. Byrne is my mom's maiden name. I think every female I know, this is not a sexist or feminist thing, but most women I know drink vodka. I know personally. I drink gin almost exclusively. They're in the same family, like vodka and gin are. But gin's never done me wrong where I feel like vodka. Okay, I got it. Here we go. Vodka is what you start drinking when you're a teenager and you're not drinking beer. And you're like, here we go. See, it goes back to Emma's story. Vodka is like, we were like, well, what do you want? You're not going to be like, I think I'll have a Macallan Scotch. You don't start with that when you're 16 unless you are Scottish. You start with I'll mix a bunch of shit and vodka, and I'm gonna drink it out of a water bottle. I'm gonna pass out in the park. Vodka is ruined for so many people because of that. Because they started with it.
Yeah.
However,
I think every one of us has a story like that about the park.
like the pit parties here in Hamilton, like when someone would drink a water bottle full of vodka and they would pass out and in the park and wake up and just
mine was on my friend's mom's lawn.
Oh, that's a good one. Not your mom's lawn, friend's mom's lawn, which is.
And the friend's mom didn't find me. My other friend's mom was driving past, and I was out cold on the lawn, and she stopped and got me and took me home.
Oh, so now you have a secret, you and her, for the rest of your life.
No, there was no secret. I was friggin' 16, dude. She went right to mom and dad,
man. Okay, vodka is ruined for a lot of people initially. Tequila, however, will fuck you up. And I know this because not only that tequila will fuck you up, but tequila is one of those things that you agree to do once you are already fucked up. Where you've gone, it's like an after work thing. I don't never had a real job, but I'm picturing this. It's an after work thing. Let's go for a drink. We catch up, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. 2 turns into 3. Another coworker shows up. It's 4. Now it's 6. Oh, now 2 more coworkers. Now some person you know from high school happens to be at the bar. Next thing you know, you're 10 people deep, and someone says, let's do shots. And then generally a guy who will buy shots, there's always one asshole like, I'll buy the shots, but you got to do what I'm doing. And that fucking guy always orders tequila. And you do it, and now you're off to the races. You're in a whole new level of drunk. You're in a whole new level of whatever. Now you're doing 3. Now you're doing 4. Now you're trying to make out with your boss in an Uber. Again, I've never had a real job. I just pictured this whole thing.
It's fairly accurate, I think.
I think so too. I think I did a pretty good job on that. I think
tequila,
here's the thing. If vodka's ruined for you, you'll never go back. No. But if tequila gets ruined, you've got a story. But if push comes to shove and someone buys you a shot of tequila, you're like, fuck it, and you do it.
Yep.
So I think I'm saying vodka is worse.
Yep, 100%.
Thank you. We all agree. Look, we even have a woman's opinion now. It's not just 2 dudes.
Hey, so Emma.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you take over the reins for a few minutes. I'm going to just step upstairs and make a cup of tea. And
nice.
You know what? You come back. I'm going to wrap it up.
I need to keep my voice moist.
What a radio guy. I'll drop you out of the stream, but you'll still be in the lobby. Okay?
Yeah, when I come back down, if you want to pop me back
and
up.
Then we'll wrap it up too, unless someone else joins. But Emma and I were going to take this next question, okay? So the next question is, again from Karina, is what's worse, snow or rain? You start this one, Emma.
Okay. I mean, I like both. I'm one of those disgusting people who's like, what a nice day when it snows outside. So I think as far as activities are concerned, rain is worse because I don't like wet socks. See,
she's been watching.
I don't like wet socks. So rain, much worse. Snow, at least it's pretty. You know Christmas is coming.
Wow. That was a quick... What's the word? Precise? I don't know words. I'm a goddamn comedian, not a wordsmith. I'm going to put this thing in here one more time, this stream, see if anyone else wants to join, but I will tell you my answer to this. Rain is worse. You're right. The classic baby boomer thing, which I love baby boomers. I devote a big section of my act to baby boomers. It's actually new. You haven't seen it since I've been in Ottawa. It's a new chunk of my hour. The classic baby boomer thing is when it's raining in a time that it usually would be snowing. Every baby boomer is like, at least you don't have to shovel this stuff. Classic, classic baby boomer response to rain. I think they're both equally as deadly in terms of road and accidents and stuff. So I'm not even gonna go there. I think that's you can spin out on black ice, you can spin out on, you can hydroplane on a road. So let's separate those guys. Aesthetically, rain is shittier.
Yes.
Snow is beautiful. No matter, I don't care. You have to be dead inside for it to be on like a nice snow, like you see at the end of the movie Home Alone when the parents are coming home and it's that beautiful snow that's coming down. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Rain is ugly unless it's like a beautiful rain shower, like a late summer when it's like it's sunny, but then you get a nice rain shower and then it's a rainbow and everyone's happy.
Or it's like an insane thunderstorm. Then it's okay too, because it's like the light show. You know what? You're right, and I think it's funny because I think I'm like an old golden retriever, where the older I get, the more afraid of thunder I am. I never when you're early. I'm gonna sound like a fucking moron here, but like I'm gonna be 30 in a month or 2 months, 3 months, July 11th or 30th, and I remember like when you're like a teenager and you're in your early 20s and stuff, you don't give a fuck about anything, really. Things just happen and you're like, oh, fucking thunderstorm, blah, 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 blah. I don't care, Jersey Shore's on. I'm still like that. But when you become 30, you kind of start thinking like, but why thunderstorm? Like, but how thunderstorm? Like you learn about it obviously with wind currents and fucking whatever. I'm no meteorologist, but to think like, oh, okay, so then these things happen and then there's explosions in the sky? What? Yep. That's awesome. Weird. No.
And you think about it and you're like, I don't know if I like that. So I think especially in the job that I'm in, you become hypercritical of everything. Why is this like that? And how can I find a way to make it funny, but also, whatever. So thunderstorms kind of scare me. Not really. I think they're cool. Like I think like that's in that last Tragically Hip concert where they cut for a bit and they played like a thunderstorm scene, and I was like, this is beautiful. Yeah. There's that element. I'm gonna bring Russell back and catch him up. Russell, we're talking back. What's worse, snow or rain? And I'm giving my talk.
Okay. All right. And can you catch me up? What's your stance?
First of all, what Emma basically said, snow is beautiful. It means Christmas is coming. Rain is kind of shitty. Was kind of what I gathered from that. So she chose rain is worse than snow. I'm going in a very round way about it and kind of breaking down every side of it. Where I think, yeah, okay, rain is worse looking and thunder's a little scary. Thunder and lightning's a little scary. Snow is beautiful and peaceful. There's that quiet moment when it's snowing and all that kind of stuff. But you have to fucking shovel snow. Yeah. Rain just fucks off. The sun comes out, it dries, and it whatever.
I hate extreme. We were talking temperature earlier, hot or cold, and I hate extreme hot or extreme cold. I'm a spring fall kind of guy. So I really hate winter. I do really. So I get what you're saying when it's fresh snow and all the salt and shit in the streets have been like scooped into the pot onto the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, fresh snow is beautiful. Yeah, and day old snow is kind of shitty.
Yeah,
it's like not kind of shitty. It's kind of it's shitty. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then thunderstorms are the raddest shit ever. I could sit. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are normal. I overanalyze everything as is my job.
If there's a thunderstorm going on, like I'm everything whatever I'm doing stops and I go sit outside.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't like having to carry an umbrella. Bothers me.
Oh, I have a bit about that. My last girlfriend cheated on me, and I realized that it created me having extremely bad commitment issues. I realized how bad my commitment issues are, where I won't even carry on an umbrella on a rainy day on the off chance that it gets sunny later that day. And then you're just stuck carrying around a wet umbrella, and you're like, I needed this at a time. Now I don't need it anymore. That's how I feel about dating. That's how I felt about dating. Now I want to fuck around and start a family. Okay, well, don't say it makes me sound sad. So I think so. Rusty Russell, you're saying that snow is worse.
Yes.
Emma is saying rain is worse.
Yes.
Eric is saying rain is worse. Yep.
I lost this one.
Another great one from Karina. What's worse, bees or mosquitoes? Emma, you
mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes, yeah, for sure.
Bees are adorable. Bees don't bother you unless you bother them, man.
You ever been stung by a bee?
Yeah.
No.
Well, see, Emma.
Fruit. It's awesome.
Okay.
But I only got stung by a bee because I was a stupid punk little kid and was.
You're like, watch me punch this bee's nest and listen to no effect.
Yeah, I was fucking around with them. Whereas if you leave them alone, they won't bother you at all. Mosquitoes, though, those little pieces of shit.
Now this is going to be controversial.
You're going the other way,
and I'll tell you why. I'm not allergic to bees, but I know people who are.
Yeah.
They'll die. And I don't know anyone who's allergic to mosquitoes. They'll die. I know people get like welts if they get mosquito bites. But you're not going to die. You're just going to have a red toonie on your arm for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's true.
West Nile.
Oh, fuck, you're right. West Nile.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, this is a whole wrench in my planned monologue. Okay. All right. Yeah, mosquitoes are worse. I did. Okay. And I'll tell you why. I think, bees are the most important animal in the ecosystem. I don't know if anyone else has seen that article. Without bees, we're all dead. Fuck the coronavirus. You don't have bees, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So bees are important. Because I don't get bothered by mosquitoes. I think it's, if someone's like, don't wear cologne, you'll attract the mosquitoes. Like if you go up to Algonquin Park or something, or if, in your case, Emma, across to Algonquin Park, because it's west of you and we're south. It doesn't matter. Anyways, so when you're going up north or out west for you, Emma, when you go, people are like, don't wear cologne or anything like that. You're going to attract the mosquitoes. I fucking never been bothered by a mosquito in my life. Maybe 1, 2 throughout an entire camping weekend. Not that I go camping, but an entire cottage weekend. Maybe bit once or twice. I have friends who, like, the second that they get out of the car, it's like ankles, wrist, neck. And
my better half is that way.
Yeah.
And it must suck.
We do actually go camping every summer, and we go for about 10 days up just north of Peterborough. It's awesome. And she just gets assaulted violently by those little things. Like, they don't really bother me. If I put a little bit of the bug spray on, I'm good. And then I'm usually manning the fire though, so I'm over the smoke, which helps.
Oh, what a real man you are.
Like, we've been camping a lot. And actually, Algonquin Park is where I've had my worst mosquito experience. I was wearing pants. Through the pants, so many mosquito bites that from my belly button down, it looked like I had a rash. That's how many.
You look like polka dot shorts.
It was horrible. All weekend, it was burning.
If you're in Algonquin Park at the wrong time, I used to be a camp counselor, and we did it was a tripping camp, so we did like a lot of long canoe trips and hiking trips. Like, we climbed mountains in New York. We did all kinds of cool stuff. But a lot of the trips that I did, some as a camper and then again as a counselor with a group of kids, we did Algonquin for 10, 12 days or whatever. And if you go at the wrong time of year, it's brutal. It's brutal. They're savage. Yeah,
I guess your chances of getting absolutely fucked up by mosquitoes is way worse than getting fucked up by bees.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be like Macaulay Culkin's character in fucking 16 Candles or whatever that movie is. My Girl.
That's it.
I haven't seen it. I've just seen it referenced in pop culture. Now I'm gonna pose our last question of the night. It's a doozy. It's the one I used for the example for this show. I'm gonna bring it up here. It's a banner, and we're gonna discuss. Would you rather, or what's worse? Not would you rather. What is worse? Being too drunk or too stoned? Yeah. I will save my response for the last because I thought about this most of the day. You guys go ahead, then we'll wrap it up.
Emma, you can lead this one.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fire away.
Okay. I'm no doubt being too high is so much worse. And I think it's mostly because I find when I'm too high, it's about fear. But when I'm too drunk, it's just illness. And I can deal with illness better. Like you can drink water. You can have some bread. There's things I know how to do. You can like make a friend in the bathroom. It's all good. Like,
that was really funny.
Too high, nobody can save you. And I don't like that.
Emma's answers are so boom, boom, boom. Thank you. Next question.
Moving on.
I without realizing this, like when I started doing these shows, this online show, I'm writing bits right now that I'm not trying to. They're just posed questions. I'm gonna watch this back and be like, I should do a joke about that. But anyways, I have a longer response. Go ahead, Russell.
I'm gonna have to side with Emma here on this one because the fear is real, and when that comes on, man, and you can feel it in your chest and your like butterflies in your stomach. You can't catch your breath. You feel like you're not breathing right. Like if are the ins and outs going in and out, you start thinking all kinds of weird. There's no escaping that. If you're depending on whatever you're taking, we'll use weed as the reference, being that it's legal. So if you've gone too far, it's I got 3 hours before, and I'll be straight. But this is going to be a rough 3 hours, But too rough. What's that? I missed that one.
You can only wait.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah.
Now, too drunk. The worst case scenario is a pass out situation, and you just wake up and you deal with it the next day. And like you said, just lots of you can drink water. You can go yak before you go to bed. You can put some, like you said, some bread in your stomach, greasy food, whatever. There's ways to survive that, but there's nothing but time when you're too stoned.
And like one bad being too high event, you're like, even if you're not too high, you get fucked up the next time. Like I smoked way too much weed when I was 16. And I like felt all my blood pumping, and I was very aware of my skin and it being tight, and just like freaked out. And
your teeth and stuff.
Oh yeah, just everything. I thought I was being hit with things. I kept like kind of trying to hide from whatever was around, which was nothing. And then that lasted for 9 hours. And so after that, I was like, I'm good for a few years. Like don't want to wait it out.
That is the perfect springboard into my answer. Emma, you and I are kindred spirits. I have smoked weed in my life. I'm going to say 20 times. 17 and a half of those times were the worst experience of my life. The first time I ever got stoned was with my cousin Chris, who was on the stream last night. I got so fucking high. I remember I was like I think I was like, I don't know, how old are you in grade 10? Like 15, 16?
Yeah, 15.
I was in grade 10, and I thought I was like, I'm listening to a bunch of emo music. I was listening to a lot of Coheed and Cambria at the time. I was listening to a lot of Seosin at the time, a bunch of big emo and rock bands. And I thought in order to be cool, a scene kid, I had to be stoned, to be like a stoner type. So I called my cousin Chris. He's 4 years older than I am. So he was like 20. And I said, you got to get down here and you got to get me fucking stoned. And he was like, I'll be there in 20. He came down the hill. He brought a big bag of fucking weed. We made a pipe. This is how he smoked a lot of weed, but it must have forgot a pipe or something. Didn't have papers.
Well, I think he answered why he forgot the pipe.
Because he was stoned?
He smokes a lot of weed.
Yeah. He smokes a lot of weed. I don't know why he forgot the pipe.
Leave it to a pothead to forget the pipe.
Yeah, so we made a fucking
yeah.
one of these guys.
Yeah.
Fucking one of these guys.
Yeah.
And we walked to the park. I'll never forget St. Agnes Park, which is just down the street from here. I remember smoking it with him, like this is totally cool. I'm totally cool right now. And then I was holding this. I had scissors for some reason. I think I was cutting into the fucking can. And I remember saying to him, take these scissors away from me. I'm going to hurt myself by accident. Like I was like a child again. And then that's the last thing I remember. The next thing I remember, I am running full speed down my street going, I can't feel my body. I can't feel my body.
Exactly.
And it was like classic one of those kids like, I can't breathe. I can't. And while hyperventilating. And that was the first time I ever smoked weed. I came in the house. I went into the shower. I think I was wearing clothes. I'm not sure. Put cold water in the shower and just let cold water run on me for like an hour. And I came out and I was like, what the fuck was that? He's like, you just had a bad trip. Don't worry. You'll get better at it. And I didn't smoke weed again until I was in my first year of college, which was 2 years later. Similar situation, house party, panicked, had a shower. I don't know why shower is my response, but I think the cold running water is like an alertness thing.
Well, we talked earlier about always being like running hot because I have the same problem. I run really hot. So when I get anxious and get any anxiety or any panic, I go like purple because I'm pretty red to begin with. I know it doesn't look like it here because of my shit lighting.
I look red all the time, but that's just my face.
Yeah, me too, all the time. And I run hot. So if I'm feeling like a nice, I don't go cold so much as lukewarm, but like lukewarm shower is a miracle cure.
So
like sit down in the shower sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, sit down in the shower, let the water run on you. It's like a TLC music video, but instead of go Jason Waterfalls, it's I'm a fucking loser. So that was that, and then I think one time in college I smoked and had a great time. We were talking politics. I don't know anything about politics, but like I was just one of those like I was like a professor stoned.
That you know why that is? That's because that was back in the day when it was like whatever you smoked, you never knew what it was.
It was just weed.
But it was whatever your guy had. Now it's legal and you can find strains that would work for someone that's like you with your sort of energy level and the way your mind works with comedy and that sort of thing. You could find strains that probably would work really well for you, and probably the stuff you were smoking in.
Well, it was probably sprayed with fucking Windex and made in a meth lab by accident.
Yeah.
That was Hamilton weed. Hamilton weed is like you never knew what you were gonna get, and you're fucked. So
back then, you never knew what you were gonna get with just Hamilton in general.
Yeah, exactly. Both weed and stabbings. But anyways, you say that, and I agree with you. You gotta find your strand and your whatever. I'm not willing to put in that research. Because I can't afford, because it's like when you're too stoned, it's not a one day thing. Yeah, there's the time, like Emma was talking about, you're stuck in that time and you're fucked. You become aware of time, which is a very scary thing.
Yeah, you go down a bit of a rabbit hole when that starts happening.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying with my energy type, I am obviously an extrovert. And based on my job, just based on my personality, just based on this fucking podcast or whatever we're doing, live stream, I am that person. I'm out. When I smoke weed, especially those super intense weeds, it turns me in, which is fine. I'm about self-exploration and learning and stuff, but it goes into the basement lobby of the fucking graveyard, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Too much.
It's too much. And the transition was always way too much for me. From sober to stoned, that's way too much.
See, what you're describing to me, and I'm gonna just like add to, because too stoned, we can talk about other drugs too. When I had some bad experiences when I was younger. I had a bad trip. You just had a bad trip. That's what your buddy said, right? Yeah, and don't worry, you'll get better at it. I had a bad trip. I used to take a lot of. This is gonna not a lot, but for my age, I took
Go
a lot.
ahead.
Okay.
A lot of what?
Acid.
Ah.
Yeah. And that is an 8-hour commitment. Smoking weed is a 3-hour commitment.
That just made my back hurt.
Now, if anyone out there, I'll use mushrooms as another example. Acid is like mushrooms on steroids for 8 hours instead of 4.
Acid is like mushrooms on mushrooms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for twice as long.
Oh, fuck.
So I used to do a lot of that when I was younger, and it was great, man. I mean, the stuff that you talk about and the textures, and I mean, it was a fantastic. I loved it. But my last time, and I had to say no after this. I went the wrong way, man, and it was, and you've got 8 hours to get through. Like the peak, you know what you were saying when you transition. Well, when it comes on with LSD, it is some next level shit. The peak is a peak.
Everest big.
And you got to be ready, man. That's why you had to like pick your people, and you had to pick your location. Like you had to know who you were going to be doing it with, because if there was like any chance of negativity, then shit would just flip, and then you're stuck.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, buddy. And that happened to me on the last time, and funny story.
This sounds funny. Go ahead.
I had a great evening on said substance, and it was now 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and all my buddies were going to Lollapalooza, and I couldn't go, and I was pissed. This was like 95 maybe, and Beastie Boys were there that year. I remember being so bummed I couldn't go. Anyway, it was super early in the morning. I said, I'm going to take another tab because you guys aren't I'm like, you guys aren't leaving until like 2 in the afternoon. So I thought I had a good like 8 hours, so I'd be straight before I go home. They say they're leaving at 9:30 a.m. So I have to call my mother to come pick me up, and I am in the middle of that said peak that I mentioned before, and I had to go home on a Saturday. And then, first of all, the car ride, forget about it. I mean, that was just an absolute nightmare. I don't even know why I'm telling the story. I'm like getting anxious.
I'm loving it. See, this is what this shit's about, man. Then we start with a question, and now you're remembering your youth, and now you've got a story.
This is not even, it gets worse or better, depending on how you look at it.
I'm personally loving it and also drinking through the anxiety of it. Go ahead.
Okay. Bottom of the driveway. My mom lives in the country, or used to, the old house. Bottom of the driveway. She wants to show me the raspberry and blackberry bushes. Well, when you are on a psychedelic drug and you're looking at a green bush that's filled with all kinds of speckles of color, and you're with your mother at 16 years of age, it's a rough situation. So there was that. But wait, so then we get up to the house, and I think
this is like an infomercial. You're like, but wait, there's more.
Yeah, there's 2 more parts. Then I went for a swim, thinking I could hide out in the pool, and because the pool was lower, there was an upper deck and a lower deck, and the pool was on the bottom deck. So I thought I could go down there and have a swim, and no one will bother me for hours, and I can ride this out. Well, doesn't my mom just come down with a glass of wine and her book to sit in the sun? So I'm diving to the bottom of the pool and just going, just trying to get it out, and then coming up and surfacing, and I'm like swimming around the pool like this, like,
oh my God.
Took me so then she says, and this is where I had to draw the line. I didn't care if she found out I was high. She said, I'm having the girls over, like everyone's coming over today, and I want you to bartend. And I just said, no.
You're like, actually, I have 8 tabs of acid if you guys girls want to go on a real trip.
So I said no, but I chalked it, like I played a part. I was acting as an annoyed teenager. I wasn't, but I played that role, and I put on a performance. Like, I'm not your bartender, man, and stormed off to my room, like acting.
Like, I'm gonna go start a band.
Yeah. And then coincidentally, Emma, there is another Emma that in my life, who's my best friend in the whole world. I've actually got her tattooed right here on my arm.
That's commitment.
Yeah, no, Emma Catherine Campbell Barker. She's gonna have a baby in 4 weeks. I talked to her today, actually.
Whoa.
Anyway, her mom and my mom, yeah, no, she'll be all right. Her mom and my mom are best friends, and Emma and I were born 2 months apart. We shared a crib as kids, like we're literally friends since birth.
Nice.
So she came because she knew it was my house. So she came with her parents, and so I grabbed her and I said, "Come with me right now." And I ran her down to my room and I closed the door and I was like, "Okay. Wait." And I had to sort of work up the nerve. I said, "I'm going to tell you something. I need you not to freak out because I'm kind of freaking out." And she goes, "All right, Russ, take it easy." And I said, "I'm on acid." And I mean, she didn't even really smoke pot or anything. So she didn't know what to make of it. And I was like, "You need to just keep me straight, man." And then we just like sat in my room and did nothing and just talked. And she kind of talked me off the ledge.
Dude, that is a fantastic story. I think there was a lot of people watching that say, "I love this story. Great story." That was very good. See, this is why I don't do psychedelics. I don't do any drugs. I drink gin and actually here, I'll throw this up too. My mom is watching this from the downstairs.
Yeah, I saw that.
And she wrote, "Don't forget, your mother heard all your smoking pot stories. I had no idea." Now, Mom, I've only smoked weed a handful of times, and they're all a bad time, and I haven't smoked weed in probably 10 years. So zip it. Now, back to our question: too drunk or too stoned? The bad times of being stoned, and I would never do a psychedelic, a mushroom, or an acid. And I'm not judging you. It's experiences like that probably made you the amazing man that you are today.
I would second that.
It's if we're talking about other drugs, cocaine is rampant in this city. I think, and yeah, I didn't realize how bad it was until, first of all, in Hamilton, but across Canada. When I toured across Canada, you have no idea how much cocaine I was offered. If I was addicted or did cocaine, I've never done it in my life. If I had done it or do it, I would have came back with a full blown problem. I would have came back with like a fucking Johnny Depp in Blow level of cocaine. The cocaine in Saskatchewan, which is not a place you would expect, it's so bad in Saskatchewan that they have to put Vaseline on top of all of the toilet seats and urinals because so many guys were blowing lines in the bathroom off toilet seats and fucking urinals that they had to put Vaseline on it. So if you put the cocaine in the Vaseline, it becomes like a paste and you ruin your fucking blow and whatever. I don't know what it's like to be too stoned on cocaine. I assume you have a heart attack, so let's pass on that one. But in psychedelics, the fear. Let's go back to the roots of this. Being stoned is too stoned on weed is the fucking worst. It's so bad. I've maybe in my life enjoyed weed once, and it was that time I turned it to Professor Johnston. I drink heavily. Not heavily. I drink enough. I don't drink a lot, but when I do decide like I'm fucking pulling the ripcord tonight, I will get wasted. I will, and gin is my thing. Gin is like I could drink a Mickey of gin and go out and be like a Dean Martin at a party, like telling limericks and stories and stuff.
Like where I'm from, up here up north, like, you know, like all the good old boys up here, like, you know, they say, let her spin with the gin.
Let her spin with the gin? That's funny.
Let her hum with the rum, let her fly with the rye, bud.
That's funny.
Anyway.
I've been too drunk in my life, a bunch, but I've never said I got too drunk. Everyone says I'm never drinking again. Okay, yeah, right. Unless you have an actual problem, you seek out AA and you never drink again, then that's one thing. But when you're just a regular drinker and you go, I got fucked up, but I'm never drinking again. By the next week or next 2 weeks, someone's like, we're going for drinks. And you're like, I thought you'd never ask. and you go. If you hate weed for the reasons that I hate weed, no one, you couldn't say anything to me and be like, we're going to do it. Like, come on, man.
I see where you're going.
I was like, no, I'm not fucking doing it. I don't. And here's the thing. We're talking about fear. The fear of weed is overcoming. You never get afraid when you're too drunk. Maybe if you're like blackout, pass out, puke out, whatever drunk, you're a little bit like, oh, I might die here. But there is one major factor which we haven't touched, which is a little bit of the devil's advocate, the old John Bonham issue. You could pass out in your sleep and puke and die and choke on your own vomit. That is the extreme of being too drunk. That doesn't happen as often, obviously, with regular too drunk people. But I will say in closing that being too stoned is way worse than being too drunk. And I think we can all agree to that. Am I right?
Amen.
Oh, guys, I'm shutting it down for tonight. I wanted to do an hour to an hour and a half, and we're at an hour 40. I'm going to kick you guys both out of here. Emma, if you want people to follow you or anything, do you want to follow? I don't know what you do for a living. What do you do for a living?
I work for the government. But I am selling my house, so you can follow me.
Exactly. Sell the house. She's got exposed brick and everything.
Instagram at Equilateral Lady. We're renovating.
That is you. I always wondered who that was. It's you. So that's Emma. Emma, I'm gonna kick you off. Thank you so much for joining. You were the best tonight. They asked so many great questions. Russ, you're not done yet. I know you got, when this is over, you're going to do some great things with radio. Tell people how to follow you and come along in your journey and see you grow and become the great man in radio that I know that you're going to be. Go ahead.
You're going to make me blush. Rusty.
They put chapstick on. Go ahead.
I can't even look at
that. There's no tough way to put on chapstick. Like
your lips are so moist.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rusty Radio MB is where you find me. Rusty Radio Mother Bravo. I don't know what the military thing is, but
yeah, you're blowing that. Just say it.
Russell Merritt Bovell is my name, so that's the MB. Merritt Bovell. Rusty Radio MB across Facebook. I have a Facebook page, professional page. You can reach out to me to my personal page. And if I've seen you in here and we've chatted in here, for sure, I'll add you. Instagram, Twitter, that kind of thing. And I'm working on a SoundCloud account, which I think should be listed on either Rusty or Russell Merritt Bovell or Rusty Radio B. I can't really remember. There's only a couple things up there, but if you want to check out some of the work I've done on the radio, you can have a look on SoundCloud and search either of those.
Dude, you're going to have a great career, and I'm glad that we did this tonight. You're an awesome dude, and when this is over, we'll have drinks, and I know I will not do acid with you. See you, dude. Right, thanks for coming. Bye.
Stay safe. Thanks, everybody.
Guys, that is it here tonight. This was friggin' cool, man. Thank you so much. Emma says, Emma, thank you so much for coming on the show. You are a great guest, and you and I are very much the same. We believe in a lot of the same things, and this was super cool. And this is what doing this kind of stuff is like. I was talking about last night on the show. I am forced. I never would have done anything like this, a live stream or anything like that, if it wasn't for this situation that we're all in. It's forced me to be creative in a new way. It's forced me to set up a home studio. It's forced me to use this microphone that I only use for some voiceover gigs and stuff like that. It's keeping me so sharp. Now I'm going to put this stuff on YouTube. It's going to have a following, and hopefully people will watch it. And there's some great pieces of material that came out of doing this. And that's what this is all about. Christopher says, bye, Eric. Awesome episode. Thank you so much. This was super fun. I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of music just to round out, let everybody off. This is a band that I grew up listening to by the name of Navy. This is their song, Hey Drew. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. And I'll be back. Maybe not tomorrow night. It's Good Friday. Got to respect the Lord. But I'll be back soon with more episodes of not only having seen it, but Eric Johnston live. We'll come up with a whole new premise for the next episode. This was episode 1. What's worse? Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I'm gonna go. This was super cool. And let's do it again sometime. I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna do that. Episode starting soon. I'm gonna play some music and I'm gonna sign off. Take care, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good night.